Hey Warriors, this is Seth, keeping it real. Today I'm going to talk to you about the number one reason employers fail at building a strong team. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a bonus, something you can do to motivate your employees so that you can get the most out of them, but not in a wrong way, but in a way that they love, to work with them and to build a team. Now, if your business has grown to any level, you're going to get to a point where you want to scale. And by scale, I mean you want to keep getting bigger and bigger. And there are always two ways to scale. Number one, you need software to automate the menial tasks. And number two, you need people. And as I've said many times, of the main four assets, money, knowledge, time, and people are the most important. So understanding the skill is very important. I would even contend that the number one most important skill for any businessman or woman is how to work with people. Even when you're selling a physical product online, you may never meet that person in person, but the way you package the product, how you put it together, has a huge impact on their life. So I'm going to tell you, why do employers struggle so much to build a team, and why is there such a strong failure rate? And the best way to address this, I believe, is to ask a question. What is your employee's number one responsibility? Do you know the answer to this question? Their number one responsibility is to save you time. Now you might think, well, yeah, I'm paying them for an expertise so they can edit a video. I don't know how to use Final Cut Pro or Premiere very well, but they do, so I'm paying them for that. Yes, that is true, but are you telling me you can go out and learn how to use Final Cut Pro or Premiere and learn how to edit video? You could, but it would be a terrible use of your time. The reason you are paying someone is to save you time, because time is an extremely special asset. It's one of those assets you never get a refund on. Once the second is gone, it's gone forever. You'll never get it back. So when your employees understand this, you'll never run into a situation where their employee gets impatient when they're waiting on you and think with this idea that you should ever be waiting on them. It should never be like that. Let me explain why. Now, what I'm about to say might sound extremely anti-democratic. It might sound like I'm against the United States Declaration of Independence that states that all men are created equal. I 100% believe all people are equal. However, your employee's time financially is less valuable than yours. Your employee's time is less valuable than yours. Now, before you stone me for being anti-democratic, which I'm not anti-democratic, I believe people are equal in who they are as people. But when it comes to business, there are different levels, and this is just a fact, this is not an opinion, of the value of their time. Let's give an example. Let's say I wanted to meet with Bill Gates. I would happily wait half a day sitting outside his office to meet him just for 5 minutes. And when I walked in, the first thing I would say would be, "Thank you so much, Mr. Gates, for taking the time to meet with me." Now, why is that? Because I know his time is more valuable than mine. It doesn't mean he's a more important person. It means that what he is making per hour, which by the way is 411,000, is much more than I'm making an hour, 1,000 an hour. Some people think, man, you make 1,000 an hour, that's a lot of money. Well, it might be when you're comparing me to people who make $10 an hour or $50 an hour. But compare me to Bill Gates, and I look like a pauper. I look quite poor because he makes $411,000 an hour. So I would be honored to meet with him. I feel like he's doing me the favor because he makes more money. Now, again, it doesn't mean he's a more important person than I am. His and my rights are the same. They're equal. But when it comes to business, this is really important. I see so many employees abusing their employer's time, which ultimately is the fault of the employer because he or she never set that expectation that their job is to save them time. Well, isn't it for a skill? Yes, but why are they offering that skill? It saves them time. Let's just say you have an employee and their job is to find you really good real estate. Well, they're paid because they're better at it. So you pay them to do it for you. If you're being paid $1,000 an hour and they're being paid $100 an hour, it makes no sense for you to go away from your $1,000 job role and do a 100-hour job role to do that. You see, that's a horrible business decision. So it's better that you pay them $100 an hour so you can keep making your $1,000 an hour. Now wait, but doesn't that take out of my profits? Yes, but you would take more out of your profits for you to stop making $1,000 an hour and do a $100 an hour job. Let me give you a simple example of this. The first time I experienced this, just with me, myself, and me, long before I had employees and staff, I used to cut my own lawn. I thought, hey, I'm saving money. I don't want to spend $35 every 2 weeks to pay someone else to do it. I'll save money by doing it. But when I started selling on Amazon and we started doing 10,000 a month, then 20, then 30, then 40, then 50, then 100, and then it just kept going and going and going, I began to realize this makes no sense. I make more selling on Amazon, far more than $35 an hour. So why would I pay someone, or why wouldn't I pay someone to do it for me? So in other words, it actually costs me less to pay someone else to do it. This concept is so important. I've seen company after company after company fail one of the biggest, hardest tasks, and that is managing people. And you know why people are hard to manage? Because they're so wonderful. I know that sounds super cheesy, but it's true. People are wonderful because they're freaking unpredictable. Like this person's artistic and this person's mathematic. And this person does funny burps in the morning. Like, what's wrong with you? And this person over here laughs at the stupidest jokes. And yet people are amazing. And that's why they're hard to work with. So you need to understand when you hire someone, you must set this expectation. Bobby McGee, you'll meet him someday. Your job is to save me time. I'm paying you. I'm giving you money so you give me time. I shouldn't be spending time in that spreadsheet. You work on the spreadsheet. You calculate those figures. You're the CFO. You strategize that. So I can work on the marketing over here, or creating content over here, or the next launch of a product over here. You see? In other words, look at it this way. If an employee ever says, I need you to respect my time, stop for a minute and ask yourself the question, why did they say that? You are not respecting their time if every time they need something, you walk away from your doing and go meet with them. That's horrible. You're actually disrespecting their time. If they're waiting on you, they're supposed to wait on you. They're not giving you money. You're giving them money. You're paying them so they give you time back in your day. Do you see? This is really important, you guys. If you're a boss, if you're a business owner, you want to scale your company, I promise you the biggest challenges you will run into are not going to be finances, not the market, not cash flow, not accounting, not your logo or your website. It's going to be people. But remember, on the other side of that coin, yes, they're the biggest problem. Also, they're the most wonderful thing and the biggest asset you have. So it is worth learning how to do it correctly. Every time you hire someone, there's an exchange going on. You are giving them money, cha-ching, and they're giving you time, tick-tock, tick-tock. So if at any point they get upset or you don't train them to understand that they wait on you, you don't wait on them, that's a very messed up relationship. It's like you're giving them money and time. That doesn't make sense. They're not paying you money, you're paying them money. So they need to understand this. Time is a really important asset. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you guys are setting up a super awesome marketing campaign with 7 executives in your company. And these people each make $250 an hour. Let's just say that. So you're meeting with them. It's an hour and a half meeting. And you have an employee over here who makes $50 an hour. And he is a video editor. Oh, by the way, his name's Bobby McGee, because I know you're wondering that. And you're over here having this meeting, and Bobby comes to the door, and he storms into the room and says, hey, everybody, hey, Seth or boss, whoever, I need you to tell me what are the main themes for these 4 marketing videos we're creating. Now, if you walk away from those 7 executives who are making $250 an hour and leave them waiting for you while you go over here and help Bobby McGee, who's making $50 an hour, you made a bad decision. It has nothing to do with personal feelings. It has nothing to do with putting Bobby McGee under other people or above. It's nothing to do with that. And if you think that, you've got to change your thinking, guys, if you want to build a business right. What you did is you said to the 7 executives, your $250 an hour is less important than his $50 an hour. But that's not true. The people who are paid the most need the most attention first, not because they're more important people, but because they're an asset to the company. I know it sounds harsh, but you have to depersonalize it. I don't care if you like Bobby McGee. And if you're afraid of what he thinks of you, then you need to change that relationship. Listen, for those of you guys who are really relational, you're going to struggle with this more because you're going to become friends with your employees. They're going to love that about you. But the problem is they won't respect you at the level that you need, specifically when it comes to your time. And if you set up a relationship where you feel obligated to just answer their question immediately and always be there at, Johnny on the spot or Judy on the spot, that's a major problem. They need to understand they're respecting your time. And the way you respect their time is you pay them, because you're paying them for the time that they're giving to help you build this company. This is really important. If you get too close to your employees, you could create a relationship where they no longer see you as a boss, more as a friend, and you lose some of that authority. You can be friends. I'm not saying don't be friends, but you need boundaries. They need to know what they respect and where to draw that line. That is really important, because you were the boss. You took all the risk. You started the company. You went through hell to get here. It was your idea. You took the risk. Therefore, it is your responsibility and duty to make sure you set up reasonable expectations with those employees that are both fair, but honor your time just as you are honoring their bank account. It goes both ways. So back to the story. You don't walk away from a meeting with people being paid $250 an hour unless it's like super urgent to go help someone else. They wait on you. And Bobby McGee should be trained so well. He knows to stay busy, not just stay busy. I'm on the clock, so I got to stay busy. I hate that. He'll get other stuff done. He'll work around it. He'll find a solution. And then when you're ready, you go and you meet with him and he totally gets it and he doesn't take it personally. That's really, really important. There's a hierarchy for a reason, you guys. Now, let me give you another example. Let's say you sit down with Bobby McGee. He's like, okay, finally, he's done with his meeting. I'm ready to do this. And you guys sit down. And you begin to tell him what the theme is for each of those videos. And as you're telling him, he's typing it up. And he keeps asking you to repeat yourself because he can't type as fast as you can talk. He didn't go to, he didn't get a doctorate in typing. So he's typing and he keeps, wait, could you say that again? And you realize this is taking a long time. Now, what should Bobby McGee do and what should you have trained him to do? Hey, Bobby, get the recorder, record the meeting. I'm going to tell you everything you need. Any questions you have, I will answer them till you fully know exactly what to do, because it's your responsibility to make sure he understands his job. And then you walk on to the next thing, because you're doing $1,000 an hour. He's not. And he watches the recording and he takes time out of his day to put in all that information. You see? Again, I want you to understand, you guys. For those of you guys who know me well, you know me. This is not about treating people like you're higher than you, you're more important than you. It's not. It's a business decision. If you were dead serious about building passive income for those that you love, so you have margin, you have to hire staff if you want to keep growing at some point. Now, if you're looking for a lifestyle business, you run an Amazon store, it's making great money, you're traveling the world, and that's it, that's totally fine. There are many people who do that. And I could have stopped at that point, but I knew I didn't want to. I want to learn and know and grow more. And that's why we began to build a coaching business and hire staff and so forth. I have had to hire many people and fire many people. I have made many mistakes along the way. I'm not presenting myself as the expert, but I want you to know this. Here's something I have learned, and I will share it with you so you can scale and save time. Love your employees, treat them with respect, and respect them by teaching them they're to respect your time, your clock, just as you're respecting their bank account every time they get that payment. Now, someone might say, well, it's kind of different if they're paid by the hour versus a chunk, like a contractor for a project. It makes no difference. It doesn't matter if you're paying them for the project. They still have to respect your time. But you'll never treat them like they're a lesser person. I've seen people take advantage of this. I've seen bosses get arrogant, and someone who used to be humble and sincere and work hard and invested in people, all of a sudden started walking around like, I'm a fancy chicken and look at me. I don't know why I said chicken. That was weird, but you get the idea, right? Maybe I meant rooster. You don't want to be like that. Stay sincere, stay humble, help them, invest in them, show them you care. But make sure they understand there are boundaries to respect, because time, you are paying them to help you, and they're giving time back in your day. And time is something, once you lose it, you never get it back. You're the boss, be the boss. Doesn't mean you have to be bossy, okay? You're the commander. You take the leadership. You decide what to do. You're taking on the risk. You be that person. They need you to be that. They'll respect you for that. They are looking for that. That's who you need to be. Now, for the bonus, here you go. How do I motivate my employees? This is super simple, but I hope it is going to help you because it has helped me so much. You ready? Tell them why you're doing what you're doing anytime you make a change. Hey, we need to make a change in the contract. Hey, we need to make a change in your job description. Hey, we need to make a change in our hours. Hey, we need to make a change on this strategy. If you just say, do this, and I know those of you guys are out there who are a little more directive types, you're like, I just want to get the job done. I don't care about the details. Just get it done. Forget about people's feelings. You tend to be this person, right? I'm not saying it's bad. You're really good at getting stuff done and you're a director and you're like, do this, right? You'd be great in the military. But I'm telling you, if you just make changes quickly without helping people to understand why, they will begin to distrust you. And it'll start with the people who tend to be more suspicious by nature. Maybe they were wounded in a previous relationship with a boss or an employee or coworker, and therefore it's a trigger to them. And they will start reading that past experience into their experience with you, even though the change you made was totally legit, it was good, and needed to happen. A little bonus on top of that, you're gonna know your company better than anyone. So you cannot expect everyone to jump on board as quickly as you do. In other words, when you make a change, you've probably thought about it for 150 freaking hours before you made that change. And then you announce it to them in 5 minutes in the meeting, expect them to jump on board. Now, at some level, of course, they need to jump on board. You're paying them. They're part of a team. They want to follow your leadership. But the more you explain to them your motive, the more they will trust you. And the more they will respect you. And you will find them loving being part of your team. And they'll start going above and beyond to help you. I'm going to share something else with you guys, okay? A lot of bonuses for you. Here's something I do almost every week. It's called a stand-up meeting. I learned it from a really awesome company whose name I cannot remember at the moment. And we kind of adopted it and turned it into our own version. I found this so motivating. Have you noticed how some of your staff tend to be a little more shy about sharing what they're doing well and others are more vocal? And it doesn't mean the vocal ones are proud and the shy ones are inadequate. It's just a personality thing. Well, we found a way to help staff become extremely motivated and innovative in their task. Every Monday, we have a meeting, a staff meeting, and in most of those meetings, we have what's called a stand-up meeting. So Bobby McGee comes in, and Bobby McGee is free to share anything he did in the last week that was above and beyond, that was innovative, that really made a difference for people, beyond his job description. Or maybe Lucy Pickleberry, you'll meet her too, she created this idea or this workflow that's extremely creative and makes her whole department run like an engine on smooth oil. But a lot of the times, you as the boss, you don't know all these things because you don't have time. And the bigger you grow, it's impossible. You can't spend the whole day studying what everyone does. So you trust your managers to manage them and you work with them directly. And there's still things that they do you don't notice. So the way you get to be aware of what they're doing and the way you build a culture where people feel super motivated and everyone wants to contribute and everyone wants to go above and beyond is you give them a platform where you say, look, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But every Monday, you have a chance to you encourage them to do it, bring something you did really well. We have them write it up in a Notion document in advance. So 5 minutes before the meeting, all the staff can read it. So we're already aware of what it is. Then during the meeting, which I lead, I'll say, okay, Bobby McGee, okay, Lucy, I see you share something. Tell us what you did. And after they share, everyone compliments them. Now, here's what's going to happen. One of those people is going to go, oh, well, I like to just compliment other people. And I know at first it seems very altruistic, and it probably is kind, but it's also a way of building a better credibility with teammates, which is good. But at the same time, they need to be talking about what they did well. In other words, it takes a certain amount of humility to boast. As crazy as that sounds, it does. Because you're vulnerable. You're saying, look what something I did. And you're kind of feel naked in front of people. How are they going to react? Do I look proud? You see, it takes a certain amount of confident humility to tell someone you kicked butt on something. It's kind of like when you offer someone, hey, can I pay for the meal? Hey, can I get you this? And they say no, and they never accept a gift. That's a pride issue. Humility says, I'll receive the gift. You see, it takes confidence, humility. So what you want to do is no one can actually credit anyone else or announce what someone else did unless they also announce something they did themselves. In other words, if I'm Bobby McGee, I say, hey, by the way, guys, this week, Lucy Pickleberry did this. I can't do that unless I first share something that I did well. Then I can share something that she did well. Guys, it creates such an amazing collaboration on your team. For the last 3 days, Josiah, my business partner, and myself have worked with 3 of our staff for 3 days straight, all day, and it has been absolutely amazing. We all flew into Seattle. We're here. One of them came from halfway around the world, from England, I tell you, I kid you not. And we worked for 3 days on building a funnel, a marketing funnel. And we drank coffee together, we laughed together, we drank tea together, we made jokes, we worked hard, we worked out, we went on a run, we did all these things. We hung out, we went to dinner. It was amazing, you guys. But the reason it was amazing is because there's a sense, a culture of value people. We care for people, but we're honest. We say the truth. We're not afraid to confront each other if there needs to be a confrontation. We understand that constructive feedback is a compliment. It is not a dagger. And yet at the same time, we realize we're not always going to agree. But at the end of the day, when Seth and Josiah make a decision, we expect the staff to get behind, support it, and we run hard. You do need a captain of a ship in order to fly that ship. If you have 2 captains, the ship will sink. All right, guys, I hope this is super helpful for you guys. Keep on going out there, keep crushing it. You're gonna get to a point where your business expands to staff. Take these principles, run home with them, you guys. And I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Before you stone me for being, I can't talk. I need to repeat that.
Of course!